Thank you. And I would just say that if you are still deciding to be in the room or step out, maybe, I understand that. And we are exactly trying to explore the same thing. None of us know so much about AI. Honestly, we are trying to understand this together. So if you want to come forward, it'll be great. And I know it's the end of the day and we are all tired, but your engagement and participation will be really, really very valuable. So I think I'll start with where Physics Wala gave us this approach, and also to find out, if we really sort of connected while, he was talking on that spotlight. He talked so much about lack of digital infrastructure, the need for, Viksit Bharat, Atmanirbhar Bharat and all of that, and what my colleague here, Dr. Gayatri, she said, learning poverty, right? In the age of AI, we are still struggling with that. So imagine a scenario where, you are a couple of years, ago, you are in this whole scenario where you are still learning about farming, about traditional sort of work. And 50 years from now, you will probably have that transference of knowledge and skill and continue to do that. But perhaps today, when you see that, the skills and the rapid sort of changes, automation, bioengineering, are the way we are looking at healthcare, the way we are looking at even retail and shopping, and everything is based on the kind of information and data, and probably our brain is not able to process as much as the information around us. And imagine, while doing all of that, we need certain skill sets, right, for the future of work. When we have all of this, different scenarios, and I think, I don't want to talk about the data here too much. We know a lot, but what is interesting is a very, very sort of small percentage of people and organizations, some representation of, them are here, we'll talk about it. They are really trained on AI skills that we are talking about, and what is exactly, according to them, AI skills. Let's go to you, Anurag. What do you think could be the future of skills in this space of future of work, and what role does your organization, Cisco, here play? If you can enlighten us, it'll be great.
Sure, thanks, Joyita. So, as you rightly said, all of us here on the panel, or as well as audiences, we all are figuring out the AI ecosystem. IT companies and the large corporations, we knew that this wave is coming, and this wave was for, it was for real, that we knew. And in corporations, this is, impacting all of us in positive ways, I would say. Whenever we talk to the employees, or, when we go out to the colleges, universities, when we meet the students, everybody, majority of the, people are afraid about AI. That is AI going to impact the jobs, or, and last time I remember, I saw the same level of hesitation or apprehensions during digitization, computerization. There was a lot of apprehensions during that time, that, employees in the banks, who were, above 35, 40 or so, even the younger lots, they were not ready to learn computers. They were like, if computers comes into our life, our jobs are at stake. So I can relate with the same sentiment now, that with AI also, people are scared a lot. AI will impact jobs for sure. it won't be an honest review if I say that it's not going to impact jobs, but at the same time, it's also going to, it's a collateral damage. It's also going to create a lot of jobs. And instead of, getting scared with AI skills, we need to be, ready with those AI skills. Um, 6, 7 years back, we did a study on a role of digitization on future of work. Now looks like it's time to do a white paper research, whatever we call it, on the role of AI on future of work. Um, a very famous anecdote I heard or read somewhere. Um, Somebody asked that, if tomorrow a robot is going to take away your jobs, what will you do? And the person said, I'll switch off the robot. So the summary is, no matter how advanced we become, how advanced the AI robots become, the power will lie in our hand. Now, very quickly on the role of Cisco for AI, um, we are doing a lot on Gen AI internally. Um, we are doing research on the use cases of AI for the larger uses, but for now it's more into Gen AI. And for AI skilling, again, as I said, we are doing a lot of research. So with the help of our peer organizations like IBM, Intel, Accenture, we did a research in US, and the outcome was that there were about 48 job roles which will be impacted through AI. And now it's time to do a deep dive on what are those typical AI skills we all need to get trained in. I mean, all the employees or the future generations, the college students, what are those typical AI skills we need to, because again, AI is a bigger and huge, larger umbrella. Into AI, we need to do a lot of research and deep dive. So we are there along with all the peer groups. We are still doing that research, but at the same time, the fundamentals of AI, we have already started training the colleges and university students. So right now we are training about 200,000 students in AI skills, and we are also learning with them. By the time they are learning the fundamentals, we are trying to get more and more knowledge in the advanced skills in AI, and once that will be ready, we would love to impart those skills as well to the employees and to the future generations. Thanks.
Thank you, Anurag. I think you brought up, in fact, two very important points. One, jobs lost are jobs gained. And, the role of human intelligence versus artificial intelligence and the skills sets that we can think of. Moving on, thank you. Moving on to that, moving on from there, let's go to you, Hitesh, and understand what your organization, thinks of artificial intelligence in skilling the workforce and paying it forward for the talent pipeline, for skilling them in the age of AI. So if you can cover that, that'll be good.
Thank you. I think before I start, and in fact, a residue of what we were speaking just before the session, I thought I'll just bring it up here. What we speak, and especially if I could speak on my behalf, what I speak here comes largely from the quadrant of unknown unknowns, from the Rumsfeld matrix. There are known knowns, there are known unknowns, unknown knowns, and then there is an unknown unknown. So what we speak here, and primarily in the context of AI, we are largely speaking from the space of unknown unknowns. So please bear with me on that path. On that note, I think, and in fact, if I were to set a vision what HP has to future of work, and for that I would borrow words from a recent statement done by our leader, Enrique, the global CEO, when he said that the future of work would be unlocked by using the power of AI for creating solutions and experiences for bringing in growth for organizations, institutions, as well as professional and personal fulfillment for individuals. That's what future of work would essentially be. And this is essentially from the aspect and realization that we are at an interesting intersection of two major trends when it comes to future of work. One comes from the space of technique, which is hybrid. And the other comes from the space of technology, which is AI. So the intersection of this, or in fact, I would say the integration of these two trends would actually set the path for defining or redefining the future of work. And on that note, I think what I could share about how HP is catering to ensuring what the vision is for the future of work and what our realization is, we are building future-ready portfolio of solutions, services, products with a deep sense of agency, where we believe that if the future of work could be defined or redefined by the power of AI, where should that power be held? And it should be held at the hands of individuals, right? And that's where the very core or the very integration of our AI strategy in business is bringing AI PCs, let's say, creating AI, or in fact bringing AI to endpoint devices rather than this actually residing somewhere and defining a path for someone to create, recreate, or for that matter even develop. How do we actually bring the power in the hands of the individuals on their own personal computers? At the same time, how do we build collaboration using AI? So that's where we are integrating AI in our office automation tools, our video conferencing tools. So the whole idea in all of this, what I'm trying to state here is the ethos of agency. That how do we bring, or in fact bring power in the hands of individuals? Now comes the second ethos, and that is more around the idea of democratizing it. And with the realization, and if I could just put it this way, that how do we actually build the whole capacity on AI, or this AI skill building as we're speaking about, on the ethos of AI, by AI, and for AI. So when I say of AI, how do we ensure that when we are building AI skills, we are building the right awareness about the character and characteristics of AI itself? What are the benefits? What are the pitfalls? It's not just technology which is to power, but it's a power intensive technology. It's using a lot of power to power itself, the energy to power itself. So there are various things which need to be conveyed in a more, I would say, transparent manner. Then comes by AI. So what are those benefits, or what are the use cases of AI which can help build productivity? And this is sector agnostic, not just limiting to corporates or to the social sector organizations. It's about how do we bring in better forecasting? How do we bring in better predictability in what we do? And how do we bring in better sustainability in what we do? So bringing in those by AI attributes. And lastly, for AI, let's all realize and understand that AI is not God sent, it's human created. It's actually thriving on human intelligence. It's just that what goes in comes out with a higher volume, velocity, and variety. And hence, how do we build more empathetic, compassionate use cases? And I think that's where this sector plays a very, I would say, a prominent role in making AI more empathetic and compassionate. So how do you actually build those use cases for AI to learn and be much more human than inhuman entity in the system? So yeah, that's what HP's way of working around AI is.
Very nice. Thank you for giving that, by AI, for AI. So you again bring in these 2 points, which is the agency and the collaboration, because that alliance which you mentioned, the AI alliance. So talking about um, agencies and skills, Gayatri, let me go to you. And here we are talking of future of work, which is so disconnected from the current scenario of work and some of the experiences that you may see. So how do you see that, from a not-for-profit sort of or a development sector, the way that you are interacting? Where do you see the need of AI and what are you seeing as gaps? And what can the not-for-profits sort of bring in this whole collaboration? If you can cover these, Gayatri, that'll be good. I know it's quite a few, but it's only for you.
So, 5:30 in the evening is time to see a movie. So, I'll go from Hitesh. There's an absolutely crappy Hindi movie I watched. Sorry to say it's crappy, where the woman was a robot. Trust me. And there was some male hero who fun. I can't remember. So when you were saying, Hitesh, this emotional, I was thinking of this woman bursting in a Diwali party there. And that's my thing. So it was not to do with not-for-profit, sorry, Joyita, but I just had to say it. So where I'm coming from is, the not-for-profit sector is unfortunately also a self-seeking sector. So what happens is the buzzwords are something we need to pick up. Because, it's like you're the Annadatta and we are on this side, right? Like, so the Annadatta defines. So the power metrics is what defines instead of what is needed on the ground. So I think if we slip it, and I'm going to shamelessly market. I think you're responsible for it, Pratima. You taught us how to market, so I think I can call it out. So you see these nice little cartoons. So at the organization, we were extremely pained. Our donors were giving us money to construct toilets. Our donors were saying put solar. Our donors were telling us, put RO. We run skill training centers. You ask me who Lakshita is. She's unfortunately my donor. Here, so so I'm saying because I've pained her a lot. So I say it very honestly because I'm saying where is the problem lie? The problem lies that at the school level, at the foundational level, actually we don't have the infrastructure. So education is step by step, right? It doesn't happen one day. So your foundational skills means you need to have computers or where you're actually able to practice, just like dexterity is important. And increasingly, I'm of the view that, there are tools. Lego was a beautiful tool for us to learn. Dexterity has to come in there and AI has to be on top of that. The reason why I showed you this is, with every technology, the world has been terrified. When you just imagine how one would have faced the time when horses were replaced by cars. Can you imagine the number of jobs gone? I mean, Kurukshetra would be too far from Delhi. We couldn't have done, but jobs were created. When cloth, Europe feared handloom to powerloom, they said jobs are gone. When I was growing up, STD Booth was the entrepreneurial, yes, I know, somebody today told me, why are you grey? I was like, it's happened. But it was that truth. But that was it. But STD Booths are no more today. But the jobs have created more. Mobility is more. I believe that we don't know. I think the unknown box is the right one. But AI will create jobs. We don't know what jobs. And why I showed you this is, I think we've made learning too serious. We don't need to be coders. We don't need to be the ones who are all generators. We need to be users of AI. So, and I'm just going to, I love stories, so I'm going to tell stories. So if I look at, are we teaching AI to students through what? I think I'm again borrowing from Hitesh, is empathy, right? What does nice fox do? It's Nila. It's tools, skills. Why are we not teaching skills through that? Why is it that a plumber and a hardware technician or a software, there's a difference? If we can say a crow and when you think of a squirrel, you think of tools. So they're so dexterous. When you think of solar, we're all worried on energy. It's slow. Energy is slow. Urja. So I think it's for us to imagine how we want to teach. It's for us to use AI in a manner in which the children are going to relate and it's not far away from them. I cannot teach AI and everybody to be a software. I cannot teach cybersecurity with all due respect to 100 million students, Anurag. But what you can do is how do you be careful? That's what I think. And as NGOs, I think it's our responsibility. I think the beautiful Hindi word is daitva. We have the responsibility of actually coming back and engaging with the corporates, engaging with the state on what we see. What do we see on the ground? We see there is a divide. I think you used the word digital learning divide. It's so true. There is a digital learning poverty. It's for us to make work with that, And I think it's about being honest there and say we can do this much, not, and how do we collaboratively. I've increasingly come to the belief that you need 5 to 10 organizations working on different issues, different age groups in the same population. The state has to do everything. As NGOs and corporates, we choose what we do. That's the freedom that we have. The state does not have the ability to say, I cannot work with one. But we have the ability to say, we cannot do and we can do. So when we exercise that power of a yes or a no, I think it's about us to come back and say it's the R&D lab and tell the state then this is working. Tell the corporates then that this is our experience. Unlike in science, there is no R&D in social science. So to me, as NGOs, I see ourselves as that R&D lab which needs to be honest with bad results. Not only not only our positive testimonials, where are we failing? Failures for us to accept is the complex. So it's a conversation for another day. But I think you asked me as an NGO, so I'm telling you as an NGO, I think that's my struggle as also an NGO, if I may so, the custodian of my NGO. How do I actually say it didn't work? I don't know.
As long as we have you and more of you in the society, I think we have hope. Let me also say that. Because there is never a crisis for imagination. Gayatri picked up all these little, characters. So the immediate connection is, when she showed the, different characters, animal characters, our imagination, empathy, empathy is taught. I think this generation sitting here, empathy was not taught. We could look out for each other, and that's what I think you said was, the 4 C's of ever learning environment, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and Gayatri, what's the communication, right? So the 4 C's never go out, whether we are in industrial sort of age, where we were bequeathed with, a lot of line production of education, or now where we are looking at personalized learning. So, there are lots to do for sure, but let's also understand from you, one of the, another large corporation, Pratima, as to what you think your role as a CSR professional, as a responsible citizen, how have you played that out with community, and how has your organization contributed to that?
Thank you, Joyita. And a nice segue into what Dr. Gayatri brought in. So one of the things that we work is Lenovo does smarter technology for all. That's the brand promise. And when AI came in, we adopted smarter AI for all. And I spent a few sleepless nights because I'm not a tech person. I spent majority of my career life in banking and on the CSR side, and tech scares me. It scares me even today. Even when I have to use a new phone, I get scared. And then here I was, my stakeholders, my important stakeholders are my community partners, my implementing partners, And how was technology, especially emerging technology like artificial intelligence, going to be, how are they going to understand it? I don't understand it. I don't understand half the acronyms that come up in IT. And like I was telling Anurag, there's something called knock and sock, and I don't know what it stands for. So I have this black diary where I have all these acronyms and the full forms of it, but that's a different story. So coming back to this, when I discussed this with my global team and we were brainstorming to say, how do we make smarter AI for all useful and something that people can refer to, and especially our community partners, we worked on a global survey. The survey was to find out how do NGOs look at emerging technologies. Um, are they aware of emerging technologies? If they are aware of emerging technologies, are they adopting those emerging technologies? If they are adopting those emerging technologies, do they see any challenges or any opportunities there? This is what we did late last year. And the results in January were pretty eye-opening for us. One, our NGO partners had adopted AI. We had 3 global organizations that were using AI in their interventions. And they came and spoke to us about what they were doing because they'd also received the survey because they were our first mailing partners. And thereafter, when we looked at the analysis, we realized that 50% of the organizations knew about emerging technologies. They wanted to adopt emerging technologies, but the gap that they had was specific to knowledge resources and what they perceived as a high cost. Therefore, it became our responsibility to engage these organizations and advocate and educate them about artificial intelligence. And that's where we spearheaded the AI for Social Impact webinars, which started early this year. We conduct these webinars every quarter with the aim of engaging the social sector in informing them about how AI works, what are the opportunities, and how can they build from that. The first AI for Social Impact webinar was focused on our own community partners who had adopted AI. One of them was an edtech partner that had adopted personalized learning, something that we saw a little earlier by PhysicsWala. Another organization was a healthcare organization that had adopted AI for its blood banks. And the third organization was Tech to the Rescue, an organization that we now have partnered with. Tech to the Rescue is offering pro bono tech services to any NGO that is interested in adopting tech. We further enhanced that and said that we will work with Tech to the Rescue to look at 10 grantees, 6 of them in the space of climate change and 4 of them in the space of education. These NGOs and these grantees are going to be global. We had to select the market because, the stage is large, but you don't have enough funds to build that. So we developed a model within the Tech to the Rescue program called AI for Changemakers and created a Lenovo AI for Social Impact Lab. We have 5 markets, 5 countries, and within these countries, we have key grantees who are going to be part of the AI adoption. I wanted to take this opportunity to inform all of you that while Lenovo is supporting the area around climate change and education, those NGOs here today in this platform who are working in the space of health and education still have the opportunity to apply. You can look up the Tech to the Rescue website. You can look up their LinkedIn profile and they have it there. Please remember that these are pro bono services that are coming to you from Tech to the Rescue on the NGO side. And if there are any corporates here, there is an opportunity for you as well, that you would be offering your tech services to these organizations, these NGOs, to adopt the technology. It's like how lawyers offer pro bono services in creating legal contracts. Imagine a scenario where you have tech engineers and tech professionals who will offer their services pro bono. That's what we are looking at building. But at the same time, we're also looking at thinking about responsible AI. Lenovo is a signatory to UNESCO's Responsible AI commitment. There are 6 broad areas that we work under: privacy and security, diversity and inclusion, explainability, transferability, and I forget one more, which means that I have to go and upskill myself on the responsible commitment.
Yeah, it's for this reason that we are talking about skilling, and this is almost like a reskilling revolution that, we are in the era of reskilling ourselves. So thank you, Pratima. I think, we have about 10 minutes or so. I just want to quickly go around because there's so much learning and resources, talking about different corporations, from HP, from Lenovo, from Cisco, and talking about, all of these imaginations and storytelling. I can say that, even from an IBM standpoint, when IBM was kind of embedding artificial intelligence into the education system, with Central Board of Secondary Education as an elective subject, data, to the students was kind of given through storytelling methods. And that was really one session or modules that stood out with the teachers because of the immediate connection. So, lots obviously out there. We could cover only this. I would definitely uh, try and sort of get as many questions within the limited time that we have after this round to all of you, that what is that one message that you would like to give to the audience here, who could be a diverse group of professionals from different sectors. Would you be able to bring up any alliance or collaboration that you've done as a success story, or anything that you would love to create, given that all of us are talking about one C, which is collaboration? So what's your message, there, Anurag, Hitesh, Pratima, and Vasudha?
Sure.
Sorry,
So,
Gayatri.
as I was mentioning about this AI consortium where these large corporations came together and did this research, there is huge need of forming these kind of alliances and collaborations for India, because US problems are very different from global South problems. Um, and we are talking about learning poverty, digital gap, digital parity. We were trying to fill that gap, and here we are now, we are into the age of AI. So one key message will be, we all need to be very careful when we are doing this AI skilling. We also need to think about those students or communities which are into the villages, tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities. We cannot leave them behind. It's a very dangerous situation. If we move forward with AI skilling and those communities are still struggling for very basic digital education, um, we can't get that holistic, development, or as a Viksit Bharat we are talking about, we can't achieve that. So a collaboration where we also talk about, we spoke about knock and shock. When we teach knock and shock to the graduates or engineering graduates, we often forget that we also need to teach them cyber hygiene. Same goes with AI. When we are talking about niche AI skills, we also need to teach AI hygiene to the students. And for that, we all need to come together and form an alliance in India, where we need to define AI in a more simplified manner. AI has become an alien word. As I said, we all are scared with the AI word and the uses and consequences of AI. We need to make it the household name, and for that, government, corporations, non-profits, all of us needs to come together. Thanks.
Gayatri?
I think I sort of completely echo what Anurag said. Collaboration is the key. And as I said, state has to do everything. Neither corporations nor NGOs have to do everything. So I think if corporations can come together and a set of NGOs can come together and, literally do a census. Say these many rural schools in, let's say 40 villages, 2 colleges, uh, and all institutions. That means you look at subcenter, PHC, everywhere there, how does this application really work? And does that actually reduce jobs or increase jobs? Does that result in easier and therefore frees up time in order for you to do something else? I think if we use cases, and I just took 40 villages out of the black, but it can be one tehsil, one district, less, but the ability to come together to solve for a significant problem and be the Estonia. Can we be that is the question, I think, and that's the power of collaboration, right? Funds are limited. What could one do with that fund? And that's a very difficult, I think that's difficult simply because the choices that one has to make is the difficult one, right? You're going to say, I'm going to ignore 99% and do one. So that's the difficult one to make, but I think the time is right to say there is at least 10% of the fund can be put for something like this, where we say collaborative impact is a say 6-year journey, right? So I'm just taking a journey of a child from 10 years uh, to 20, say. That journey can be completely, and when that journey has health, that journey has climate, that journey has everything, agri, if it's in an urban area, it's sanitation, it's got the mix. But can we do that is, to me, that would be the dream.
Holistic. Okay, Hitesh?
So I think, in fact, at the outset, digital equity forms one of the core pillars for HP in its community investments. And in fact, in 2021, we went with a public commitment of impacting 150 million lives by digital equity endeavors. And we've been, like between 21 and now, we've been able to impact nearly 45 million lives. And I think what has been, and this is by 2030, what has been important in achieving this kind of a scale has been the realization, and I'll go back to the known unknowns, that we know what we are best at and what we are not good at. And hence, with that humility, really investing and accelerating the practitioners' work. So there are organizations which are working in the field of digital equity, bridging the digital divide. So our major investments go in accelerating their capacities, and that has helped us to scale the impact. In addition to that, partnerships, collaborations, not just with institutions, but with, of course, the government organizations as well. So if I could put an example, recently we had a collaboration with the Ministry of Education, where we are helping in building the capacity of teachers using technology on their digital, capabilities or digital skills. So these are certain programs which has helped us reach these numbers. And with all of that, what I would really want to stress again is we need to be mindful that it cannot just be limited to by AI. We have to be mindful for AI as well. Whether we want this to be a Hahakari AI or a Sanskari AI would all depend on how we actually build that learnability in the AI itself, what kind of use cases we put forth. In fact, I've actually made it clear that this is something which will actually set the right path, and majority of the unknown knowns would be a bit clearer. So yeah,
Thank you. That
all.
was a good one. And Pratima, perhaps like over 1 minute, or just.
You want me to have the last word?
I think the audience should get the last word.
Okay, in that case, I will keep it simple and small. I think for me, the important message is about using AI responsibly. I think that's something that I think that we should be building as we take the AI advocacy and education forward. Um, Honestly speaking, I don't see AI as something that will make people lose jobs, and that's my point of view, because I look at AI from a productivity angle. I use Copilot, and those who use Microsoft would know I use Copilot. I love Copilot because there are these simple emails, and I'm in the midst of a lot of work, and when I don't have the time, I just use Copilot. So, therefore, don't think of AI as a challenge, think of it as an opportunity. I'm an optimist, and I strongly believe that AI is here to stay, but AI is here to stay if you use it responsibly.
I think that's absolutely wonderful. Thank you. I know there are a couple of questions, but we can probably take only three. I don't know if we can extend time, but we can take three questions and short ones. That'll be wonderful. Sure. I think the gentleman here, the lady there, and maybe you. Yes. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sriram. Basically, I run a skill development organization, and we are into community-based and center-based skilling. So I've been trying to navigate AI landscape and AI-related skilling. I, in fact, conducted a webinar on AI and with my mentors in Silicon Valley, and basically they explained GPT transformer, which bounced off everyone. And so I'm like currently navigating what are the skill set important, like is it data labeling, is it foundational logic or reasoning skills, is it the application of AI industry specific, is it the hardware related skills, or is it the machine learning LLM skills? Like I'm trying to navigate, if you can guide on it.
You said, of course, AI enables all of this, but two large skills, or largely two skills that a lot of experts are saying, including educationists, what they are saying is two skills: immense amount of mental flexibility, because you've got to sort of expand your learning journeys, and great reserves of emotional balance. You may lose so much, data, information, and all of this. So just these two skills are what a lot of experts are saying. Yes.
Hello, I'm Vaijayanti from Center for Science of Student Learning. We do large-scale assessments of diagnostic learning, both in academic space, social emotional learning, and we just recently conducted a future readiness skills assessment across 4 states and 22 partners, including CBSE and so on. So what we found there is that across the country, children do not have thinking skills, whether it's critical thinking, problem solving, identifying a problem, or like as you said, the communication, collaboration, conflict resolution, or even leadership skills, or even understanding self, less than 10% at all age groups. So given that, the title of the session says equipping workforce for the skills, with the skills for the AI age. And as Gayatri ma'am really said, like most of the things that technology has brought us, we have figured out how to use it. I remember early days when Mixie came, people used to come and demonstrate at home how to use a Mixie, So we will learn, because if AI is used for the end user, it's only for generative AI, you need prompt engineering and stuff like that. So therefore, when everybody could learn how to use YouTube and so on, even illiterate people, should we not be also focusing on things like, because of AI, it's reducing even our ability to think now, because everything will be handed over, right? So should we not be, as human beings, not lose those qualities which we are already having? So should we not be also thinking about that? That's my question.
Absolutely. I don't know whether we can really answer, but in this short time, but happy to talk to you later. Absolutely. I think your survey may have some questions, and we are happy as a team to talk to you. It's not going to be very, very effective if we, just throw this out like this. I think you've done significant research, and I'm sure as a group we can kind of look at that if you're okay with it. Yes.
Hello everyone. My question is to Pratima ji, ma'am. Your organization supports a lot of programs from an education standpoint as well. We're talking about a generation today which is more comfortable with technology than ours and the previous generations. And these are generations to come ahead as well, not stopping here. The panel has been talking about using AI as a friend, optimistically yet wisely. So today, how do you see the learning milestones from an AI standpoint for a 6-year-old versus say, a teenager who's like in 14 and 15 years of age? What could be the learning milestones for such an audience? Because today, the pace of learning and picking up on things is quite fast. They're born with, Instagram on their hand. So what are the 2 or 3 things that you see for this age group?
I'm not an educator, so I will not be able to answer from a teacher's perspective or from an education perspective. But look at the country, look at India. Okay, we've been talking about digital divide. AI is on devices. If the devices are not there with the students who is a 6-year-old, why are you so worried about what the AI learning milestone would be for that child when there is no device in the place? If you're talking about teenagers, my daughter is 21 years old today. She's still learning AI, right? So why are we putting the chicken before the egg and the egg before the chicken? Rather, think about the emerging technology that's coming in and say, okay, if this is coming in, from what age do we want to take AI skilling forward, right? And then build around that. The generation that is coming after that will come by itself. That's my logical thinking. But Gayatri, if you want to add to this.
I'm going to wing it, but I was just thinking, as you said, think of it as a 6-year-old, right? You want the child to have space, dexterity, in addition to critical thinking. So Lego has a beautiful, and that's my latest fascination, so I want to be honest about it. Lego is beautiful, it's got a lot of pieces. So they were becoming irrelevant as a company. And I just sort of started reading about it a little back, saying that look at if they have blocks and some blocks are lost for a child. So you can apply AI and it tells you what it can make, which is a beautiful learning tool for a 6-year-old. Now you move this to a 14-year-old. A 14-year-old is needing dexterity. Here it's going to need space, measurement and critical thinking, right? It doesn't solve for empathy, but it solves for this. But for a 14-year-old, it's the co-pilot. So it's the ability, and actually a lot of the program that we are teaching as AI in colleges, as well as in schools, is actually the prompts which are needed. The success of what I am is going to be how I ask a question. If the prompts are not there, it won't work. So I don't think we, at this point, I mean, I'd like to go to the known, unknown, I don't know, Hitesh is on my, I'm sort of going with you, but it's on my mind. But I think, look at it beautifully, right? You can actually do chat GPT in so many ways. Look at what children enjoy. And when we actually made this, it was not us, it was a bunch of young people who came back creatively saying mascots are important. In today's world, mascots are not important. But you can teach values, you can teach empathy, you can teach skills through mascots for a 14-year-old. Now, if I was to go back and say, tell me what a 14-year-old would understand by integrity. Just be honest. All words which parents are very boring, right? So these are where AI, I think, will be a very important for our life skills. Now, the question I think is a larger question. What happens? What's the bad? Every technology has bad. I mean, roads are there, accidents happen. It happens, right? So it's for us to protect against what's bad, but embrace it. Embrace it fully, because that's the future. It's going to happen imagine, I don't want to know whether I have cancer. Sorry, I really don't want to know. I don't want to know I'm going to have dementia, but it's the reality. We may be there, but you can't get depressed because of it, right? What are those skill sets for a 22-year-old who knows they're pre-diabetic and they're going to be in 30? Hone do yaar, jaldi kya hai? but it's going to come to us. So it's for us to be prepared, embrace it, and have the skill sets to deal with it. That's the way I think of the learning curve.
Thank you for your beautiful insights, Dr. Gayatri ma'am and Dr. Pratima ma'am.
Sure. Last word to this gentleman here.
Thank you. I'm happy you give me the last word. At home, I never get it. So, I was just reflecting on the optimism that Pratima said and Gayatri also mentioned. Look, AI is going to be a big enabler for us, especially in the agriculture sector. I mean, 50% of our unorganized workforce is the farmer. Imagine if he can use his mobile phone, AI enabled, and be able to find out which crop to grow, how much of seeds to be used, how much of pesticide to be used, where the mandi is. He'll cancel the middleman out completely. And that's where what we need to look at and what we're talking and we're fearing is the AI in the IT sector, which IT is a vertical and IT is a horizontal. We have to look at IT as a horizontal, IT with agriculture, agri-tech, IT with education, ed-tech, health tech, farmer tech, textile tech. At those intersections, there's a big enabler that AI can do. Yeah, within the IT sector, there's going to survival of the fittest. The best programmer gets the job, rest will have to wait. So I'm saying in those terms, I think it's a big enabler. Imagine sooner than later, you will have AI wala aata. So, I mean, you'll like to buy that.
Thank you. And I think that's what it is. It is not only just an enabler, it's a leveler. And some of the skill set still remains very basic. I think we should teach ourselves and our next generation, whether they go into workforce or, create jobs, is to be really kind and look out for each other. You don't need any technology for that. We've survived through several decades and transformations of technology, and we need to have, really kind sort of, generation, not sitting next to each other, talking and learning about AI and playing video games. I mean, that's exactly what is happening. They're not being able to connect. Their social connections, emotional connections are getting lost, right? Then there is no need for such forums. So I think collaboration, communication will not go out of any age, and that's something we can really foster our next generation with. So thank you once again, and thank you, panelists.